Welcome, 10-Hour Nation. Once again, it's your boy, Justin Wilmot. Welcome to Flagra Beach, Florida. As always, I'm extremely excited, actually, as you know, stoked, to introduce a man to you guys, David Olds, okay? He's a seasoned real estate investor and wholesaler who currently lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He was once a former fellow Floridian. Look, what matters is he's mastered the art of scaling his real estate business. See, since 2002, David's been helping other investors grow and succeed by sharing his truly proven strategies that have helped him purchase over 100 rental properties. I think that's pretty awesome, David, because, you know, single families, they can be a little bit of work, right? But what's even cooler to our community here is the over 1,600 wholesale deals that you have done. We know how much effort that can take and how you're about to help everybody make that a little less effort on their behalf. Yeah. Most importantly, why I wanted David on here, guys, is he's the founder of EZRI Closings, which is a nationwide transaction coordinating company, title company. He's created a solution that takes all of the work out of closing deals, right? And that's a big deal. And I've told you guys, your business is just as powerful or just as good as your title company or title attorney. And that's why I wanted David here, because I know how important it is to us as virtual real estate wholesalers that are doing deals nationwide. And he handles the time-consuming details. EZRI Closings allows investors to focus on what really matters, which is scaling their business. And you guys know that you got to talk to buyers and talk to sellers. That's what this is all about. Yeah. And if you can not worry about the paperwork stuff, the contracts, and let them handle it, that's going to help a lot. So David's dedication to helping others scale up has made him a leader in the real estate community. So get ready to discover exactly how EZRI Closings can streamline your business and boost you to what we call living the vacation lifestyle. David, take it away, my man.
Justin, thank you so much, man. Yeah, I appreciate all of the kind words. You know, that was something, you know, as we grew our wholesale company and we started going nationwide, we were in 28 major markets across the country. So maybe not quite nationwide, as you would say, but, you know, that business was a lot different than the local model of real estate, right? We're bouncing just in and out of markets all the time. And, you know, one of the difficult things is, first off, we as real estate investors, we like to bring the fun. We like to bring the wacky deals, right? Really just the bottom of the barrel stuff, because what's our job as investors? First off, it's, you know, we're here to help people, right? So, but how do we help them, right? Well, we find people who have problems. So death, divorce, taxes, bankruptcy, bad tenants, you know, all of the different things. So the more of those problems that we can solve, the deeper the discount that we can get. So what happens is, on one side, you know, we're telling Mrs. Smith, our seller, like, hey, Mrs. Smith, you know, I can help you. I can solve all these problems. But what we do on the dispo side, right? On this side, we're like, hey, Mr. Buyer, I can get you this property, and, you know, we guarantee clear title and proration of taxes. So sometimes getting from, you know, where we start to where we need to be at the end is a problem. And this is why, you know, the kind of the dirty secret in our business is that 40 to 50% of deals never will close. And a lot of it is because of title issues. So that's something that we've really specialized in. And that was what we got good at doing in our company, our own company. And then sort of EZRI Closing sort of grew out of that. It grew out of our own core of transaction coordinators. And then, you know, COVID happened and some other people let their TCs go, and they called me and said, hey, can you help? And so we sort of kind of backed into this business, but it wasn't something that we ever really intended to do. And, you know, it's something that came out of the need that as we wanted to grow and scale and be more efficient and be more professional, that we needed to have some good coordinators. So I'm going to share my screen here if I can remember how to do it. Great. So one of the things I like to talk about when we're kind of getting these things started is, you know, again, I've been doing this for 22 years, like Justin, seems like a lifetime, really, and it's two decades. Yep. But you know, now we own EZRI Closings. We own a couple of title companies, about 100 rentals, of course, a consulting company, and a little bit some other oil and gas companies, and a bunch of different things. But it wasn't always like that, right? It didn't start out that way. And one of the bad things about social media, man, is it kind of shows everybody that like has already achieved all of their goals, and it doesn't talk about the struggle. And I just like to talk a little bit about that because I think sometimes people have a hard time relating. But when I started in this business, I was broke, man. I didn't even have enough money to be considered broke. I was half a broke. We had just moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Didn't know anybody. Didn't have any properties, and luckily we were very determined, so we started wholesaling pretty quick. But getting into that first little bit of the business where we were getting some success, we're doing a couple of deals a month, and then growing to that next level, and that was a struggle for me, because the one thing that I kind of mistake that I made, if I could go back and change anything, was I wanted to try to do everything myself, right? And this is something from talking to lots of entrepreneurs, successful people. They've all gone through this kind of growth, right? Where in the beginning you feel like, oh man, nobody can do this as good as me. Nobody works as hard as me. I can't trust anybody else to do anything in my company. I got to do it all. And they wear this badge of control freak as like a badge of honor. And really what I learned was, at the end of the day, right, there's only 24 hours in a day. I can only do so much, right? It's 24 hours, right? I can only work so many hours, then I have to go home and sleep just a little bit. And what I realized is that I needed to start bringing in some other people into my company, and so that I could take my time and really focus on the stuff that was important, which is getting those contracts, talking to buyers, talking to sellers, and focusing on my marketing. And there are lots of parts of the business that I didn't particularly love that I really shouldn't be doing, right? Bookkeeping, accounting, property management, cutting grass, changing water heaters, transactions, right? So the biggest shift that I made that really was so important and really helped me grow from, being a small operator here in town, doing 2 or 3 deals a month, to doing over 30 deals a month when we were nationwide, was bringing in, some very good talent. And initially I thought all of that talent had to be in-house, right? It had to be somebody here. I could go walk over to their desk and, lean on the edge of the desk and see what they were doing. And then I realized that as our industry has evolved, right, we could start to outsource some of this stuff. And that's kind of where EZRI Closings comes from. So I'm sure a lot of you have wondered this, and this was one of the things that I had to overcome in the very beginning, right? What was that secret to, working less and making more, right? My dad always told me work smart, not hard. Well, in the very beginning, I'm going to tell you, I feel like I worked 14, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. And on Sundays, it was a half a day. I only worked probably 6 to 8 hours, right? I was working my off, and literally I just couldn't get past that 3, 4, even 5 deals a month was just a huge month. And, my goal was like, how do I offload some of this stuff? But yet, I really didn't trust anybody. I had that whole little investor narcissism thing going where I thought I had to do it all. And then I'm looking around too, and I'm like, how are these other people just absolutely dominating and crushing it? And, I'm not getting to their level, right? I had that little bit of, FOMO, that fear of missing out. And then, the other thing too is like scaling, right? How am I going to scale this thing up and still keep my expenses low, right? Because that's one thing we all understand. We want revenue to grow, but we need to keep expenses at a reasonable level, because that's where we make money in between those two things. And, I knew just working harder wasn't the solution, right? There's nobody that, has grown a big company that just got in the mud every single day and did all of the stuff, right? Elon Musk is not going down putting license plates on every Tesla that comes off the line, right? I had to be able to trust some other people to come in who honestly could do it for me better than I could do it. And God, the worst part, the part that really relates to the transactions, is losing deals at the closing table. Has anybody here ever lost like a big deal at the very last second? If you have, throw it in the chat, because I'll tell you 2 of mine. One, $76,000. $76,000 because I had a title company that didn't follow directions and brought the buyer and seller in at the very same time. They all sat at the table and, started talking about the deal. And, well, I'm paying this much. Well, I'm only getting paid this much. Well, why don't I just buy it from you instead? And that was the end of my $76,000. And then I had another one that a title company messed up and didn't get the paperwork done. And it was $106,000, right? So losing big deals, I'm going to tell you, that's just heartbreaking, right? And, I talked about this a little bit earlier. There are just some parts of the business that I wasn't good at. You're not good at. The thing about us that makes all of us, great business owners is there's something in our business that we're amazing at, right? And it's different, right? If we were to poll this room, it's, some guys are going to be good at, acquisitions. Some gals are going to be good at disposition. Someone's going to be good at something else, but we're not good at everything. We're typically usually only good at one or two things in our business. And the rest of the stuff, we just, we sort of muddle through, we force ourselves to do it. And, if you guys are writing anything down, write this down right now. There's this book called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. I'm going to tell you, this book absolutely changed my life when I read it. And what he talks about is, bringing in those people that can do sort of the lower end, the more administrative type tasks, like property management, like bookkeeping, like someone who's an executive assistant to do your emails, like a transaction coordinator, but to bring those people in so that you can really spend your time focused on the parts of the business that you love, right? The things that get you up out of bed in the morning and, that keep you laying awake at night excited because you're excited for it. But also, when I was doing that 14, 16 hours a day, I had no work-life balance. And at the end of the day, it cost me a marriage too. So, because I was so focused on growing this company and trying to do all the right things that I just was never home. But what I eventually learned, right? Hopefully that a lot of you, if you haven't already, that you'll come out of this, is you can't do it all yourself. It's just impossible. It's a fool's errand. Trust me, I lived that life. I thought that I could do it all, and I worked myself almost, into the ground. But I had to also find and surround myself with experts, right? Bring in those people who were the very best: property management, bookkeeping, accountants, lawn guys, right? Like, as silly as that sounds. And, in our case, transaction coordinators, and building that team, that's something that coaches and, speakers and gurus, whoever, have been preaching to me since, 2004 when I got into this business, right? Building your team, right? Whether it's lawyers or, but yeah, lost opportunities and missed deals. So what I'm talking about there is, in the business, when I was trying to do everything, what I found is that I had super tunnel vision, right? Like, I'm in marketing right now, and then I'm in acquisitions, and then I'm in dispositions. And, now I'm going to go in and start to worry about how I'm going to clear this property with all of the heirs and lost trust docs and, mortgages and all that stuff. So when I'm really focused on doing that, that's fantastic. I'm overcoming that problem. But one, I don't really understand how to do it, right? It's not the thing that I'm really great at. It's not what I'm an expert at. And when I'm trying to figure out how to get a mortgage release from a bank that closed 6 years ago or 8 years ago, and now they're out of business, right? What am I not doing? I'm not talking to my buyer. I'm not talking to my seller. I'm not doing the parts of the business that actually generate revenue, right? So lost opportunities and missed deals because for me, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever felt this, right? But like, I would get so locked into one part of the business, and it wasn't the thing that I was great at, spending 20, 30 hours on something that literally you could hand off to somebody else that they can do, instantly, because it's just the thing that they do every day. That's where they're an expert, right? Wasting time on paperwork, absolutely crazy. And then just not understanding what it was like when we went nationwide and started bouncing into all of these different states and counties. Well, 50 states, they all love to do it different, right? They're abstract states, attorney states, title company states, escrow states, right? Then you get into California, who they do it a little bit weird, top and bottom, right? It's one part's an escrow state, one part's an attorney state or title company.
Yeah, it's crazy. It gets frustrating.
It does, right? And then you have 3,000 counties who all love to do things their own little different way in their fiefdoms. And some people require rental inspections or a sewer inspection or a water lien release before you can close, right? Every county can be completely different. So that's why, going into these different markets, one, it's fantastic, right? Because you should be virtual wholesaling. You should be working in the best markets. You should be in the place where all of the buyers are at. But we encounter all these problems, and this is the reason that 40-50% of these deals die, because people just can't get them over the closing line. And then ultimately at the end, right, I needed to build a team that could help me in my business grow. And as you grow, right, now you're more in the CEO box instead of kind of in the hustler box, right? So you want to be able to run that team and help them train. And let's talk about how we can help you, right? So EZRI Closings, we are the nation's largest transaction coordination company. So we have clients, of course, all over the country. And our whole goal is to give you just a hands-off, white glove concierge level of service, right? So literally you get your contract, that gets handed off to us, and we take it from there.
You mind if I butt in there, David?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I want you here, man, because this is what this community needs badly. They need the one-stop shop where they can have somebody handle all their title in any market. This is beautiful, man. Keep going.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's it, because this is what we realized we needed. And then, again, we started this company and it was just some of our friends. So, we built it that way. And then, we decided to open it up to other people. But yeah, again, literally, you got your contract with Mrs. Smith. You're going to hand that off to us. We'll assign the title company. We'll assign it to a coordinator. That coordinator is going to reach out to Mrs. Smith. Hey, Mrs. Smith, this is, Claudia working with Justin on your deal over here at 123 Main Street. Hey, I need to ask you some questions, and then we're going to go from there. We will take care of everything. We'll get the title cleared. You hand us off that assignment contract. Same thing. We'll call the buyer. We'll gather up all their docs. Literally everything from that all the way through scheduling notaries to go out, right?
All right, stop. I got to stop you one more time.
Yeah.
I need everybody to, I'm sure everybody here in my audience knows this, but that is unbelievably critical and important, because especially for our community and doing things nationwide, right? Like, David, I think you know my story, but like I got into this nationwide wholesaling because I was forced to do a few deals while I was in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And having someone like you is what I'm preaching from the mountaintops all the time. Having the ability to have a seasoned company, but watch this, be able to handle the communications with assignments between sellers and buyers. Why? Yeah. Even for our newer people, so not even for the seasoned people, that's just worth its weight in gold, but for the new people, guess what, right? It is an obstacle, a series of contention, because they don't feel like they don't know how or how to talk to the buyer or the seller, or they feel like they're gonna say something wrong. But when they have a company that is seasoned and does this for other investors across the country, it adds this element of confidence to their business. So you become this extremely crucial element to our community's business. So I just had to say that, man, because I'm super passionate about this. Like I scream from the mountaintops, guys, you are as profitable in your business as is as easy, as good as your title company or a team, your team is.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll show you in a minute here, just some of what we did last year, but we've also got our own in-house title company that I think we're currently licensed in 8 or 9 states, and we're growing from there. So we're working on just the biggest states first, like Arizona, Texas, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, some of the major states, and as our business grows, we're growing those title companies as well. But so again, we want to do everything we can, because our goal really, Justin, is I want to just compress time, right? From the minute you guys get those contracts to the day you close and actually get paid, get money in your pocket. How can we shrink that amount of time up, right? Because again, we can go off on for a long time talking about title companies, and even though I own 2 of them, most of them are terrible. They're absolutely terrible. They ask you one question at a time. Sometimes it's a text, sometimes it's a call, sometimes it's an email, and it's constantly stopping you in what you're doing to have to go back to the seller and get that info. Again, I'll show you how many deals we did just last year. Like, this is it's just an average Thursday for us, right? It's just the stuff that we do every day that for you, it really disrupts everything you're doing. And a lot of times you won't have those answers. And this is, again, the stuff that kills deals. And we work so hard for these deals, whether it's 10, 30, 40, 50, 100,000. Do not let these deals die, because I've had it and it's very, very painful. So, we want you to be able to rely on us and sleep at night knowing that somebody has your back and they're going to get these deals closed. And that's what we do. So yeah, let's get to this. We talked about it a little bit. 2023. Again, not telling you guys this to brag or any of that stuff, just so that you understand the breadth of what our team does. And I'd love to say I do it, but I have 17 amazing coordinators. We're adding 4 more here in the next week or two. 2,202 files were handled last year, $238 million in closings, and we generated almost $29 million in profits for our clients. So that's yeah, man, that's a lot of money.
Love it, man.
I tell you, when we generated that report, I was like, holy smokes.
Dude, it's impressive, man. I love it.
Yeah. And our average assignment fee is higher than the national average from the guys at Freedom Soft and REI Black Book, and RE Simply did a little project last year, and they gave some at Family Mastermind. They gave the averages from all of their platforms. So why is ours higher, right, Justin? I'm not locking up your contract. I'm not selling your contract. But what happens is when you get that time back, that 20 or 30% of the time that you're messing around with title issues, and you can pour that back into your company, right? And you're working on maybe you're fine-tuning some marketing, or spending more time talking to sellers, spending more time talking to buyers, right? You have that time back that you can really devote, not feel like you're just being pulled in 1,000 different directions. It turns the lever, and it has an effect on your business. It does.
That's a great point. I didn't think of that. It does allow operators more time to negotiate a little better with their buyer, getting a little bit more.
Absolutely. So the biggest question you should have, and this is the question you should have, How can I trust you? How do I know that you guys are going to get my stuff closed? Right. Again, for me, over 20 years of real estate experience, like, I don't know, most of you guys probably aren't old enough, but there used to be this old commercial called the Hair Club for Men, right? Hair plugs or something. And the owner would come on at the end and he would say, hey, not only am I the owner, but I'm a client. Well, this business was started from me, and I'm kind of I'll be honest with you. Like, I want my stuff right. Right. So, I'm very picky about how things happen. So, we're not some part-time realtor that's like going to try to close your stuff, or, we're not doing 4 deals a month. Like, this is our business. We don't wholesale anymore. We have over 23 people in our office total with admin and support staff that come in every single day from 9 to 5, and they are only focused on getting your deals closed. Right. So again, a company has owned and operated me and my COO there to my left, your left, my right, whatever it was. Like, we did those deals, right? So we come at everything from our client's perspective, right? How do we get these deals closed? Because I understand how important it is, and I'll tell this to my team sometimes. Listen, Bobby in Phoenix might be his only deal that closes this month for 10 grand. Get that thing over the finish line. Do whatever we have to do, as long as it's legal. Get that thing closed, right? So again, 2,200 deals. We'll do almost 4,000 in 2024. Because we're growing rapidly. But, it was important to us to make sure, Justin, that we did all types of deals, because I know that as a real investor, sometimes it's a wholesale. Sometimes maybe we're going to take it sub 2, maybe a novation, a lease option, a wrap, a contract for deed, administrative deed, whatever you want to call it. Now we're doing the installment method. So, business changes, and it's not a one size fits all, right? So we knew from the very beginning when we built this company that our transaction coordinators were going to have to be able to do all different types of deals, and we certify them in that, and that we were going to be able to work in all 50 states, and we were the only transactions company. Certainly, we're by far the biggest by a multiple, but we're the only people that have actually closed deals in all 50 states, and we understand how that works. Still, to me, it's very important that all of our members, they actually work here in our office. They're right on the other side of the wall here, because we like that environment of the team being in here, right? Where they can all collaborate and say, hey, I've got this new weird deal in West Virginia. Who's done a foreclosure in West Virginia? Oh, I have. Boom. Let's get together. Let's talk about how we're going to get our clients taken care of. That's cool. So we make sure that everybody's here. All of them are certified. So first off, everybody that we hire, we're always searching for people that may be a former title agent or a realtor, or somebody from the mortgage business, or credit and collections, which was actually a great hire because they could really help us navigate a lot of cool stuff. But people that come are the insurance industry. They come from the kind of that world. We bring them in here, and then we put them through a 6-week training program, because even someone from the title industry comes in and they're like, oh my God, an assignment, right? Because normal title companies don't deal with that type of stuff. So we have to bring them in and teach them about investors and investor business. So when we say they're certified, we put them through that. They go through a rigorous, they actually work on all different teams, and then they have to actually pass a test before they can work on their own. So, 35.
Do you mind if I butt in one more time?
Yeah, do it.
I'm just so excited because this is so much. Our community needs this so much. Guys, did you hear? I just want to put an exclamation mark next to, in case a deal turns into a subject to agreement for deed, a novation, right? The ability to have a professional say, like, so if a deal is not going so well, and say, these guys could say, well, why don't we do this instead? That's where it's weight and gold. Because sometimes, if it's not working on your disposition side because of a traditional wholesale type of deal, imagine being able to have somebody look at that from a perspective and say, well, wait a minute, this isn't a dead deal yet. I can still help you.
Yeah. How can we get this thing closed? And that happens a lot. Deal starts out, comes in as a wholesale, changes to a novation. Novations come in and change to wholesale. Novations go to sub 2. Like, it happens a lot. And our team, we get it. We understand. We teach them that this is what dealing with investors is like. Like, it can be very fluid. So, one thing, and I don't think I've got this in my slides, Justin, one thing that was really important to me is, again, when I said, why should you trust us, right? So I wanted to make sure that our coordinators cared as much about your deal as you do, right? And of course they do, right? We're paying them. But to sort of hedge that bet, the way that we pay them, and nobody else, I don't know of anybody else that does this, they all get a salary. They're all paid really good. But they also get a bonus every time your deal closes. I pay them that. It comes out of it, right? So they, it's pretty good, about $110 a file. So some of these guys and gals are closing 12, 14, 16 files every 2 weeks. Like, they're closing a lot. So what does that do, right? Well, that, as we're sitting here, that takes Claudia here and makes sure that she wants to get this deal over the line, right? They have incentive. So they're going to do everything they can to make sure that these deals close. And sometimes, I get calls from an outside title company. Oh, Susie was mean on the phone. I'm like, yeah, that's terrible. I'll talk to her. I'm like, get these things closed, right? Because we know that sometimes title companies aren't as responsive as they should be. So
that's a great point. I'm glad you pointed that out for everybody.
Yeah. So EZRI Closings, listen, we're very straightforward. I want you to do more deals, right? I want you to have your time back. I want you to make more money, really. And with that freedom, man, go on vacation, go to Costa Rica, go to Europe. We have tons of clients that are overseas. They love it because they don't have to worry about what time zone it is. They can just shoot us an email and we'll get it taken care of. People that go on vacation. We just had one of our clients went to the Olympics for like whatever it was, 3 weeks, sitting in Paris. We're wiring him money, right? He is getting paid because he didn't have to worry that these deals were getting done or that, the right documents were getting collected from the seller or, gathering up all the heirs to sign an affidavit, something like that, right? So do more deals, make more money, have freedom, but really, man, enjoy the business, right? Nobody got into this business to work the 14, 16 hours a day, right? Nobody watched a webinar, read Rich Dad and said, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to leave my 9-to-5 job so I can go work 18 hours a day in my own business, which I get it. In the beginning, that we're all starting something new and it does take a lot of energy, but let's work smart, right? Like my dad taught me, let's work smart, not hard, bring in and you shouldn't be doing your own TC work, but you shouldn't be doing your own bookkeeping either, right? Yep. As soon as you can get to a point where you can outsource these types of things, man, I'm going to tell you the results in your business is going to be astronomical when you can bring in somebody who absolutely just has a proven system of making this work. So a couple people here, Sam, this is actually the kid that was in the Olympics. He was there with his new fiance. That's awesome. Sam, quintessential investor, super smart, follows direction, does everything great, running around a million miles an hour, locking up deals, absolutely horrible at paperwork, like the worst. And, we were really able to help him grow his wholesale business. And, as he says here, they made it a much smoother process, eliminating all the paperwork and the administrative tasks that come with closing each deal. So we're super excited to, over the years, see how Sam has just really, really grown his business because he was having the same challenges that you were having, that I'm having, that everybody has, right? Bouncing around, finding an investor-friendly title company, right? What do we do now? We get online and we're like, I'm going to go to Facebook to Wholesaling Houses full-time or into some group and go, who's the best title company for novations in Connecticut? And maybe you get a good answer, maybe you don't. Chances are you won't. And, that's your deal, right? If those people can't close it, that $30,000 is up in smoke, right? So finding title companies, gathering up all that paperwork. I can't tell you how many times, Justin, I would get a contract. I would send it over to the title company and they would call me and go, hey, is Joe married? I'm like, oh crap, I don't know. I go back to my office. I call Joe. I'm like, hey, Joe, are you married? No, I'm divorced. Great. I call the title company. No, man, Joe's divorced. They're like, great. When did he get divorced? I'm like, well, I don't know. When did you get divorced? Oh, I threw that heifer out 3 weeks ago for whatever. I'm like, oh man, okay. Yeah. Oh, he just said he got divorced. Well, we need the divorce decree. Oh my God. And this is. If you guys are closing deals, you know this. I'm not lying to you. This is
because what he's saying is just pure truth.
Dude. And it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts because they can never seem to just ask you all the questions at once. But again, I tell people we're like Neo in the Matrix, right? 2,200 deals. We see these things coming through. As soon as Claudia's calling Mrs. Smith and saying, hey, I'm working with Justin, she's going to say, hey, I have some questions for you. Right? We're going to start to ask those questions at the very, very beginning, right? Hey, is there anybody else on the deed? Are you single, married, widowed, divorced, right? Do you have tenants, right? We're going to ask all of those questions. And that questionnaire really just exposes all of the places where we're going to have problems so we can collect that information up front. So we're not delaying your closing, right? Because we know one thing, time kills all deals, 100%. The longer these things sit out there, the more likely a seller or a buyer will bounce out, right? 100%. So we don't want to do that. Yep. Let us help you solve those title issues, all those weird things. When the day I got like this cut and paste from an abstract attorney and it was like monument of title, I'm like, I don't even know what that means. My day Googling every third word that I was getting from these people. I'm like, just give it to me in English. Tell me what you need, right? But yeah, coordinating signatures and closings. My God, we've had some closings that go over a year, right? Our clients still got paid because we were in the background behind the curtain, like at the Wizard of Oz, making sure that this thing stayed on track. And our client was able to go out and do deal after deal after deal. And this one was just sort of there in the background. But we've had deals go easily a year. I think our biggest one was like 27 people had to sign, something like that. It was crazy. People in other states, people in prison. I kind of like people in prison. They're easy to find, right?
I've actually had a few of those.
Yeah, the state's very good about keeping track of those people, right?
Yeah, they tend to know where they are.
Yeah. So yeah, coordinating all that stuff. But then, understanding, like we talked about earlier, all the little regulations and rules in every little area. We'll record memos for you. It's a little bit of an extra cost, but you may want to do that. You may want to protect your deal to make sure that the seller isn't shopping your contract, or that some other sleazy wholesalers are going to come in and try to snake your deal, because we don't want you to be losing deals and losing that revenue.
Yep.
Alex, man, certainly one of our biggest success stories. So Alex came to us, let me see down here. He started with us in March, and he was doing 97 a month in revenue. Let's be clear. 97 a month is good. That's $1 million wholesale company, right? Like this is nothing to sneeze at. But they went from 97,000, and by the end of May, they were able to scale up to 750,000.
Woo!
Per month. And these guys,
month?
Yeah, they stayed at that. Their biggest month ever with us was 811 or 814. I can't remember exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So
Alex.
Yeah, man, these guys crushing it out of the Northwest. And a lot of it was because of our team. Now, was I contracting his deals? Was I selling his deals? No. But this is what smart CEOs and entrepreneurs understand. They're very small levers that you can turn in your business that have dramatic results. Exactly. So Alex and his partner had a really big team, right? But the dispo person was also calling the realtor and, calling the title company. And they were doing all of these things that they shouldn't have been doing. They should have been focusing on their part of the deal. Yeah. So when they were able to outsource all of the transaction management to us, now their people are spending time on the phone, right? The worst thing, Justin, I'm sure you know this, right? You go hire a dispositions person, right? We hire dispo people. They love to be on the phone, tussling with buyers all day. But if I tell them, hey, when you contract the deal, now you got to find a title company in Minnesota. Well, now you're like taking them out of their groove, and now they're trying to, call, spending half of their day trying to find a title because they don't know what they're doing. That's not their thing.
Sometimes that can take days to do.
Yeah, that's not their personality type. So again, when we talk about lost deals and lost revenue, lost opportunity, this is it.
And I want to button up. I want to put a pin on that last slide for everybody. What this means, guys, is I'm speaking particularly to ones that have done less than 5 deals total, or even if you're working on that first deal. What that last slide means is you can go into more confidence because of all of those things that you might be having as either conscious or subconscious fears. What if this happens? What if that happens? You with these guys, with EZRI Closings, you have a team that has already done this thousands and thousands of times, which you saw in other slides, which means you don't have to worry about, you can focus on just what I'm constantly preaching, which is focus on the sellers, and focus on the buyers. That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, again, I'm not doing those deals for you, and I'm not going to tell you we can close every single deal. Some are just a rat's nest.
Totally. Yes, it's crazy.
But we will close far, far more deals than I would have ever closed in the beginning by myself.
Yeah.
So, again, not to kind of reiterate it, but what makes us different than hiring some part-time realtor? Again, we can serve you in all 50 states, any transaction type. Please bring us something new and different. Our team would be thrilled, right? Because you do thousands of deals, hundreds of closings a week. It gets very monotonous for them.
Well, careful what you ask for, David.
Well, listen, man, I'm going to tell you, they get excited. They have a Monday morning meeting and they're like, anybody have anything they want to talk about? And when somebody gets a cool new deal, that they love to chit chat about it and dissect it, right? Because this is their personality type. Like all of us, right? We're talky people. These are different types of people. These are checklist people, Excel people. They love being in the CRM. They love problem solving. So they eat this kind of stuff up, right? Again, they're all certified. They're in the office, no VAs. And I'm not saying VAs are bad. I use VAs for marketing, but you don't ever want to hire a virtual assistant to do transactions.
I'm so glad you said that. Absolutely.
So you get somebody with an accenting. Again, I love VAs. They do an amazing job for me on graphic design.
Totally. We use them. Yep.
Yeah, but I don't want somebody with a heavy accent calling Mrs. Smith in West Virginia and saying, hey, I'm working on this deal. I need your social security number and your wiring instructions.
Yeah, you're talking about, for some sellers, is the biggest transaction of their life.
Yeah. And that kind of brings up another point. Like, we understand that. That's one thing that we talk to, our coordinators about all the time is, as investors, right? We do this stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. But when we're talking to a seller, most of them only sell 3-4 houses in a lifetime. Mm-hmm. So we're, kind of like a realtor. We're that spot where we really baby step them through this. Hey, here's the information I need. Here's the next step. And we're going to touch base with them every single week from the beginning all the way till the end when you get this thing closed. And that's one of those things that really keeps them, from bouncing around and trying to talk to other people is, hey, yeah, this is going to close. I've talked to Claudia every single week. I have Claudia's own number. I can call her anytime I need if I have any questions. And we're just there. We're there for you so that you can go out and be chasing down your next deal, because we want it to be just a complete turnkey system. The other thing, I don't have pictures. I really should put a good picture of it in here, but every client gets their own custom portal. It's a CRM. Basically, it shows all of your deals, and as the deal progresses, it moves through. It's like kind of like Airtable or Kanban view.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we have a very customized one. Every single client has it, and you can watch your deal go through. You can click on it. It explodes. You can see all of the information, everything in real time, all of our notes. Like some of our notes will be page after page after page because these deals, some are easy, but some, again, they go months and months. And every time our coordinator talks to the seller, talks to the buyer, it's all noted in there, who did it, what day, what time, what was done, so that you can go in there and look at it at any point. Because I always used to say, like, if I wake up at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday and I'm panicking about 123 Main Street, I need to be able to pull up on my phone or go onto my computer and go, oh, okay, well, geez, somebody just touched this today. Here's what's happening. This is what we're waiting on. Okay, right? Because
it's so helpful.
I get it. I'm a 20-year wholesaler. I understand that you guys are putting a lot of trust in us. So we want to be as completely transparent with everything that we do so that you know that your deal is getting worked on. And because of that, we only assign one deal to one coordinator, right? It's not like a group thing where 5 people are working on it. So it gets to be Mo, Larry, and Curly, like, oh, they dropped the ball, right? One person's going to be the one that talks to your seller all the way through. So it's a steady point of contact. That same person's talking to the title company. That same person's talking to your buyer, and they're going to usher this thing through because, again, they want to get paid. They want to advance. They want to get those bonuses. But on your side, we're going to make sure that they really hold your hand so that you don't have to spend the afternoon Googling what monument of title is. So Ryan's a good guy. Been with us since the very, very beginning. He makes the cut here because he has the greatest quote ever. I don't ever want to go back to that dirty, dirty past life when we were doing TC in-house, right? Having us on the team really helps streamline things. But nobody wants to be doing this. Nobody got into real estate to be doing transaction coordination and reading, title commitments and all that stuff. You just want to know that your deal's going to get closed and you're going to get paid. So
I'll tell you a quick story, and this might be for some of the newer people in the audience. My seasoned people know this. But do you know, David, the very first deal that I ever did almost 20 years ago, it was a HUD property, right?
Yeah.
So I got the property. I got the bid accepted from the government, from HUD. And I'm following all the steps. I'm marketing the deal, and I find a buyer. And I'm all excited. He gives me his offer. It's like 15,000 more. So I've got like maybe a $12,000, $10,000 profit spread. I'm over the moon. I spent 2 years buying books and courses trying to do my first deal. And the first thing I did, I was elated when I got that offer, right? And you know what I did for the next 7 days? Because this is how young and naive I was. For 7 days, I spent 7 days Googling how to do a simultaneous closing. And I myself was in the weeds with we're trying to learn how to do a closing, even though I did open escrow because my broker told me who to use, but I didn't know any better. And I stressed out for 7 days straight trying to learn how to do a closing. And I was like, and then one day my attorney called me out of nowhere. This is, 20 years ago, right? And he goes, "What are you talking about, Justin? That's what we do." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. And the thing about transactions and what we do is everyone's different, right? Everyone's going to be just a little bit different. There's no checklist that we have like a 5-page intake form, but that really just tells us where the problems are, and then we have to dig into the dead husband, where the lost death certificate. Do you know where to go get a death certificate? Right? Do you know? Does anybody know? I'll give you a little hint. Always go back to the funeral home. They have to keep a copy on file. So if it's been relatively recent, you can go to the funeral home. After that, you have to go to the health department. But it's just all these just little weird things that, if you haven't done 2,000 deals, you don't have that experience, and nor should you. Like I can't even balance a checkbook, right? But thank God I have a great bookkeeper and accountant, right? Those are not the things that I want to be good at. I do not want to understand the ins and outs of Google PPC, right? It's far too complicated. My brain, I lose interest in that after about 5 minutes. What I want to do is make a bunch of money, go out there and help a bunch of sellers and buyers, and make a bunch of money. Like at the end of the day, that's it. So, bring in the people that can help you really do that. So anyways, again, we are a fraction of the cost. I tell people you couldn't hire the girl at McDonald's who's dunking fries for what you would pay us in a year. Like we are ridiculously cheap because, we're kind of a fractional transaction coordinator. Really, at the end of the day, you're going to get your own custom portal. Again, one coordinator for each deal. We have our own in-house title company where if we're licensed in that state, we will handle that in-house for you. Because I will tell you, it is far easier for one of our coordinators to get up out of their chair, walk down the hall and go into that room with the title agents and to get somebody on the phone or leave a message and wait for them to come back. Even the great title companies, so again, compressing time, getting your deals funded quicker. And we know, Justin, I know, like the world is changing a little bit, right? Sometimes we used to be able to do pass-through funding. That's kind of going away. So we knew that, things like transactional funding were going to be important. So I've gone out and found some partners to come in who we're not making anything on it, but we can do transactional funding right now.
Help get the deal closed. I'm going to put an asterisk on that for everybody listening. He can help also assign you transactional funding if something happens. And trust me, deals that will happen sometimes where maybe because the state that you're in or the county or the deal, or sometimes it's maybe it's a foreclosure or whatever it is. Sometimes things come up where you have to do a transactional funding when you weren't expecting to do that. Now imagine you freaking out and then David saying, "Oh, don't worry, we got you."
No problem, we got you. Let me just call this number. This is my guy. They're at 0.75% right now, which is the cheapest I've ever seen any place. And we'll get you. We want to make sure that your deal gets closed. Your coordinator is going to help you because they want to get their little bonus too, right? So everybody here is, we are on your side. I want you to get to doing 10, 20, 30 deals a month because I'm going to charge you a little bit more, but you're going to be making so much money you don't care.
I say this to the community all the time. This is the best business in the world because real estate is built in with people that want to help you because everybody has the same goal.
Yeah.
Close the deal. Because that's where people get paid.
Everybody, that's it. Everybody is on board.
Everybody's on board. I mean, what other business is like that?
No. And I'll tell you, even when we started, I thought, we're going to run the best transactions company in the world. And then I realized, I'm as invested in these guys' business as they are. Like, I want to make sure that,
there you go. You're hearing it from the other side right now, my folks.
So, one of the things that we started this summer is we do 4 coaching calls a month, right? 2 of them are with me. 2 of them are with industry experts. Like we had Investor Lift in. I had Nicole Espinoza come on talking about short sales and pre-foreclosures and how to navigate that when you get those. So we're doing as much education and just throwing as much value at you guys as we possibly can.
Great.
Because I want you to do more business. So, and at the end of the day, we all want you to be living your dream life. And it's different, right? I get it. It may not be private jets or, condos in Cabo, right? Whatever, right? It may just be, whatever that reason was that you got into this business. Maybe it was so you could leave your 9 to 5 and go pick up your kid at 2:00, right? During the day, or, you wanted to be able to go on vacation more and maybe work from Costa Rica or, Europe for a month, right? We all got into this business for a reason. Like, what was that reason? It absolutely was not to work 14, 16 hours a day, right? But it was to have a scaled up, profitable business that's throwing off cash so that you can do the things that you want to do. And that's kind of, sometimes we get so embroiled in everything that we're doing, we forget that, right? We forget why we got into this business. And that's, again, when we say I want you to do more deals, make more money and have more freedom, this is it, right? And I remember when I got to this point in my life and I was able to go spend 30 days on a little cruise around Europe. And I took another cruise for 30 days around South America. And I went to China for 30 days and I was able to go to Dubai and go do all of these cool things. But it was because of real estate. It was because, I had a team built that would allow me to step away from that day to day. So, we're pretty much wrapping it up here, guys. Again, if you remember anything, it's EZRI Closings, more deals, more money, just more time and more freedom, right? I want you to take that time and freedom to invest back into your business or go on vacation, but just know that, your deals are going to get closed with us. And if all we did, I want you to think about this. If you think back to that slide where we had some stats, the average deal, not even our average, but the average deal is what, 18,000? Let's say it's 20. If all we did was help you save 1 deal a quarter, that's 80 grand a year. I promise you the cost of us is far, far less than that. But if you could take that 80 grand and put it back into your business, the most expensive contract, unless you're in LA, let's say it costs you $4,000 to get a deal. We'll take that 80 grand, put it back in, and now you have 20 more deals at 20,000. That's 400,000. That's what we talk about, smart owners that know how to turn the levers on their business and really invest that money back and make those smart decisions, right? Don't be like I was. I was dumb in the beginning, right? I'm going to do it all myself. Nobody's smarter than me. Nobody works harder than me. All that nonsense, right? Mm-hmm. Once I realized and figured this out, this was the secret, right? The secret in business was bringing in experts and, and scaling my company up where I didn't have to work all those hours and I was making more money, right? Like my dad taught me, work smart, not hard. But what if it was all free? Feels like the end of like a infomercial at 2 a.m. One thing that, and Justin, you may do this, you may not. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it, but one thing that I started maybe 5 years ago, and I talk about it a lot, so more people are doing it, more coaches are teaching it now. But in our assignment contract, we added in a transactions fee, right? Pick your number. I started out at $5.95. Now we do $7.49. I have some clients who do $9.99. Right. So what that means is, let's say your assignment coming over was going to be $20,000. Well, now it's $20,749. So you're recouping that money that you're going to pay us. You can actually turn your transactions into a profit center. Mm-hmm. You're get to doing three deals a month. It's like 2.6 deals a month. We're completely free. Mm-hmm. And you're going to start putting extra money into your pocket over the course of the year. That's $10, $20, $30, $50,000, depending upon how many deals you're doing. And you're not putting ads on Indeed. You're not interviewing people. You're not hiring people. You're not paying W-2 wages. You're not training them. You're not managing them. What if they go out on maternity leave? You're not dealing with any of that stuff, and your business is going to grow.
Yep. You just build that right into the assignment. That's genius.
Yeah. That's the best offer I can ever make you guys is what if it was free? So if that sounds cool, I want you to take out your phone now, and we're going to open this up for questions, but this is going to go away here in a second. So scan this QR code. And what this does is I made it easier than a URL for you. But this will go to either to me or my sales team, whoever's available. It should jump you over to a Calendly link. Pick a time that works for you, and let's talk about it, right? No obligation. Sign up, don't. That's okay. I'm just always fascinated to talk to people. But let's talk about, what were your plans for this year, right? How many deals were you looking to do? What's your goal for next year, right? Because we're almost into that time where we're going to start planning for 2025. How can we help you? What are some of the things you're struggling with, right? If we're not the answer and you call me and you say, hey, I need a great PPC guy, man, I'll give you the best PPC person I know, right? Whatever it is, it's however we can come on and help you out. So book that call and let's see how we can work together and see if we can help you grow your company like some of the people that we showed here.
I love it. And real quick, just in case for the people that might be technically challenged, I've been there. QR codes were a thing, and I didn't know how to use them for a year. Real quick.
Me either.
Yeah, all you got to do is hit the camera button on your phone.
Yeah.
Hit the camera button and just put it right up to the screen. A little link will appear. Click that link, and there you go. You're off to the races.
There you go. It should work. It does work. Fantastic. Yeah, I didn't actually check this one before I put it on, but usually I do. But yeah, that'll just take you to a little page, and there's a blue box that says book a call now. And yeah, just pick a time that works for you. So if you guys, last chance, because I'm going to stop sharing here. So go ahead and scan that.
Before the questions, David, I just want to thank you, man, for sharing this opportunity with the community too. This is going to be massively beneficial for so many people here. This is like, for stupid analogies, peanut butter and jelly, peas in a pod. This is what people need. So this is beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's helped so many people. I knew that it was something that was needed in the industry. I guess I underestimated how much, to be honest with you. It's been really amazing. I love talking to investors and watching them grow and seeing their deal size go up. And, those guys are guys and gals, I say guys, but, they call and they have this deal that they feel like is going to be insurmountable, that they're never going to get paid on. And to be able to work those through, it's cool. We've done some big deals. We've done some small deals. We had one the other day that was like 127. I think the biggest one we had was like 250 for an assignment. So it's cool to see those. That's the kind of stuff that gets our coordinators jazzed up and talking about it. They're like,
oh, heck yeah. We had somebody in our group that we call the 10-Hour Deal Makers Club about a year and a half ago. They did $250,000, $250,000. That's probably the biggest one I've seen. I personally have never even done a $250,000 assignment fee. I've done 135.
That's it. I'm going to grab this link real quick and I'll drop it here.
Yes, I say, can you throw that into the comments here? And my friends, if anybody has any questions, feel free to throw them in there for David.
Yeah, give me 1 second. If you guys have questions, I would much rather answer questions than talk to a slide all day.
Yeah. This is so unbelievably important for us wholesalers, particularly virtual wholesalers, to have a professional team like this ready to rock and roll for you guys, built in. I mean, that's why, guys, listen, this is why this is the best business in the world. I know I'm biased. I know I'm a real estate guy and I can be tagged as a real estate guru, although I don't think of myself as that, because I'm really just an investor that now teaches people. And yes, it's a great expansion to our business because that's how we do more deals with you guys. We're here to help you. And I am telling you, your business, the profits you make and the simplicity of your business, meaning keeping some hair. I don't have any hair, so I don't, maybe that's not a great example, right? But your stress level is directly proportional to the team members that you have. And if you have EZRI Closings on your side, they have the ability with everything that we just talked about, right? Like all the worries that you might have, particularly too for these newer people that have these conscious and subconscious fears about, well, what if, this happens? And what if that happens if the seller wants to back out? The team at EZRI Closing has the ability, because they have done thousands and thousands of transactions. They might know how to talk a buyer off the fence or seller off the fence. Have you guys ever had to do that before, David?
Oh yeah, absolutely. All the time. Yeah. One thing and this happens a lot because our coordinators, man, they will talk to these sellers more than you guys ever will, and over and over and over again. So we'll get those calls where it's like, hey, this other guy's calling me trying to put this house under contract, and we'll immediately hang up, call Justin. Hey, Justin, want to give you a heads up, man. You may want to jump in here, just make an extra call. Or sometimes they'll call us and be like, yeah, I tried calling Joey and he didn't answer me and I'm mad. Our coordinators know, hang up the phone, pick up the phone, call somebody. Let's solve this problem. We do not want these deals.
Let's put an asterisk or an emphasis on that too. He just said sometimes we talk to the sellers and buyers more than you guys do.
Oh, for sure.
That's something, David. I'm just a simple surfer who's been blessed enough to work his ass off and do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deals and make millions of dollars in real estate without a college education. So I don't have always the best words, but the way you just put that is something I think I've been trying to say for the last 7 years. 10 years to people, right? Is that, guys, look, these guys will talk to your sellers and buyers more than you do. So any worries, concerns, look, I know that when I was first getting started, I didn't know what to do. I just told you the story of how I spent 7 days trying to Google, how do I do a simultaneous closing, or how do I perform? How do I close a HUD property in a wholesale deal? And I'm like looking through legal documents in the state of Florida, codes, reading stuff, freaking the hell out. How am I supposed to do this? I've never had somebody simply say the words, hey, dude, what are you doing? We handle that. Yeah. Like I know I might be going very basic there, David, but I know there's people that think like that. Like, how do I close a deal? That's a big thing. See, you and I tend to forget that stuff. We tend to forget the beginning, right? But like some people are thinking that, like, okay, fine, I get a property under contract, man, but now how do I do the assignment contract? How do I do, how do I fill out another assignment contract? How do I fill out, Look, guys, there's people on your side. And in real estate, it's the only business that I know of that comes in with it a built-in team. People that want to help you. Why? Because they want the deal to close. Just as bad as you do. Why? Because everybody wants to get paid.
That's it. And, we talk about, so often we hear about go to the investor-friendly title company. I could tell you a story here in town. When we first started, we went to the investor-friendly title company. And so many times I would drop that contract on my attorney's desk and I was so happy. And he's like, oh, Davey, this one's got dead people. You're going to have to probate it. Throw that contract away. Oh, this one's in foreclosure. Oh, this one's in bankruptcy. And literally, I'm throwing these contracts away, which, back then, 2009, 10, 12, 15 grand, solid hits, until I realized, oh, well, I'm not asking a good enough question. Well, what could I do? How could I get this thing closed, right? And that's that thing that in our certification, that's what we teach these coordinators is, if there's a legal way to get this thing closed, get it closed.
Get it done.
Ask good questions. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Attorney, what would you do if this was your deal? How could we do it? Oh, well, I guess, if you get a death certificate, obituary, 2 disinterested parties and all the heirs to sign, I guess we could do it without probate. Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's what we need, right?
Yep. And you guys are pros at assignments, right?
Oh, my God, yeah. Yeah, about 55% of our deals are assignments. Probably about 40%, maybe a little, 45% assignments, 40% novations. We do a ton of novations, and then the rest gets mixed up between all the different types of creative.
All the different stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So assignments.
We're all about assignments here. Assignments is what we're all about.
Easy in and out. Let's knock them down.
Yeah. And then when it comes to it, then that's why I put an emphasis on, you being a reference for transactional funding. Sure. If that's what's needed, we need to close on this deal. We need to bring in that quick one-day dough. We do it.
Yeah, I love that one day dough. That's great. Yeah, so cool. Any other questions?
Man, I just appreciate you, David, for being here, man. I know this is going to be a big benefit to everybody in the community. I know it for sure. Everybody here is going to be doing a lot of business with you, or as many people as possible anyway.
We're looking forward to it. Yeah, we dropped the link there. Go ahead and click that, book a call, and yeah, let's chat. I'm looking forward to talking to each one of you.
Guys, hit up David. Again, the link is right there. Also, hopefully you already used the QR code. If not, the link is here. By the way, if maybe you're having a problem with the link, I know I've heard people that would say that before, right? Take a picture of the link right now. Just go ahead and take a quick picture of it. Worst case scenario, you can manually type into the URL. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Justin.